We want to see Boise as a more livable city. So we're going to do this by establishing something called the Urban Outdoor Nirvana, a city within our city. And we're going to do this by establishing 3 key points: improving transportation, enhancing culture and community, increase jobs and entrepreneurship. We chose lot number 2, over here between Myrtle and Front Streets, these 3 sections right here. This is Section A, Section B, and Section C. Each of these sections is going to have a different component to accomplish our 3 goals. Section A is going to be called the Alternative Transportation Area. Section B is going to be the Boise Urban Outdoor Concert House. And Section C is going to be the Urban Outdoor Village. I'm going to talk to you about Section A. We found a need to improve transportation. Boise drives too many cars. It hurts the environment, it hurts our pocketbooks, and people want a more efficient way to travel around downtown. Alternative transportation is very popular in Boise. Lots of people walk, bike, carpool, and engage in public transportation. But Boise does not have a main facility to support this change. So we came up with the Alternative Transportation Area. It's going to have 4 components: parking, a zip car station, a bike station, and a Valley Ride bus stop. The parking, there will be 100 lots. It's going to be overflow parking for the amphitheater, which is next door, and Boise can generate revenue from the fee. 10 of these lots are going to be things called Zipcar. Zipcar is a concept where one can reserve a car online and pay a membership fee, and every time by hour they will rent that car. But Zipcar pays for gas and auto insurance so that you don't have to worry about it. This is really good for if you don't have a car, or if you want to drive your car less and you don't want to pay for gas. It's really, really efficient, and it can get you from point A to point B. You can drive it to a Zipcar station somewhere in downtown, so you don't always have to drive it to the same place. This says reduce driving. That means that there are less cars on the roads, and Boise State students can access downtown cheaply, efficiently, and happily. We've also got something called the bike station. The bike station is the similar concept to Zipcar, only with bikes. You can take your bike there, and they will store it and care for it for you for a certain fee, but you can also rent bikes. And what you can do is these bike stations downtown can be implemented so that you can rent a bike from this point A, and you can drive it to point B and just leave it there. And if you're just trying to get from point A to point B, it's perfect. It's cheap, it's effective, it makes the world a better place because you have cleaner air. Boise has many different organizations and a great infrastructure in order to implement this program. Boise Bicycle Project specifically is very interested in this. And then, of course, there will be a Valley Ride bus stop for those who want to engage in public transportation. This is a very sustainable and efficient area to have because it saves the city money, it keeps the environment a better place, and people, it serves a growing community of alternative transportation commuters. It will save the city money by lessening the cost on repairs of roads and other such traffic issues because there will be less cars on the road. So, how are we going to fund this? Tax increment financing. We've got the Heritage Trust Fund, which is specifically for these kinds of projects. We can increase, hopefully, the transportation budget to include alternative transportation. Donations and volunteer services. The Boise community has a great need for this facility and a desire for it as well. So volunteer services is something that can be accessed. All right.
When our group was trying to decide what to do with this specific plot of land, we discussed the needs of the community. All of our guest speakers over the week talked about how we have to keep the college-age generation in town, that it's crucial to the vitality of our community and the lifeblood of it. We talked about jobs. Mark Rivers gave a great example of how in Austin, Texas, they were able to increase the job market by 99,000 jobs during the recession by catering to the creative class and the creative job market, and that's what we're trying to do. We talked about bringing quality art into Boise, the most innovative and cutting-edge artists of our time. Our innovation. The Boise Urban Outdoor Concert House. The Boise Urban Outdoor Concert House is a unique and state-of-the-art 1,300-seat concert house specifically catering to the most relevant and interesting rock, jazz, and contemporary artists of our day. The Boise Urban Outdoor Concert House will be a defining characteristic of Boise, garnering national recognition, providing a spot to showcase the best talent that Boise has to offer. The design is going to be grassy hills around the outside with a glass dome around the outside. Ensconcing the glass dome is going to be an LED light display that's going to be magnificent from within the structure or without the structure. We're shooting for an immersive aesthetic experience. The second you walk out of the car, your environment's going to be engaging you. On one side we're going to have a Zen garden, and on the other side we're going to have a turf maze. We're going to put up spaces for street performers. If you went to the Boise Curb Cup this last year, you probably have an idea of just the huge amount of talent we have in this area and the lack of space for it. So we're going to put 3 different brick circular spaces for them to do their thing. We're going to have art installations on the outside and in the entrance of the building. A really interesting technology is the concept of a floating floor. We're going to use recycled rubber tires. We're going to put them under the floor. On top of that, we're going to put a distribution layer of wood. On top of that, there's going to be a laminate wood surface. What this does is it provides a little give to the floor, making it more comfortable and more safe. In addition, we can put transducer cells with piezoelectric crystals in them to harness the energy from the people dancing to power the light and sound system. I'm absolutely serious. They do this in Europe. We're also going to use new solar power technology that has recently been invented, which uses 50 to 100 times less silicone, making the cost of producing the solar panels reduced by at least half. We're also going to put in a state-of-the-art sound and lighting system. It's crucial when developing the architecture of this building that we take into account reverberation control, as well as when we're formulating the component sound system, we use the best components to create an immersive lighting and sound system. The evidence. Talk to any number of Boise State students and you're likely to hear about how they traveled to either Portland or Salt Lake within the last year to see a concert. We went out in the community and we did interviews. We sent out mass email messages and Facebook messages. The response for a mid-level concert house was overwhelming in the community. In addition to that, there's a lack of mid-sized concert houses in the valley. We have none. And there's a lack of concerts in the valley. For example, in 2009, Boise would have to have thrown 440 more concerts to match the frequency of concerts related to the population of Portland. In other words, if Portland were the same size as Boise, they'd be throwing 440 more concerts per year. Given Boise's rich musical diversity and propensity towards the arts, these numbers are pretty disturbing and demonstrate the need for a high-scale concert house. Our project is feasible, even profitable. Funding, state and city funding, because it will be community-centered and potentially help the economy by bringing more shows to the valley and creating creative jobs. We're hoping to get funding from the state or city. Private donors and investors will be invited to contribute in exchange for naming rights of various objects as well as a return on their investment. The Boise Arts and History Funding Program as well as the Heritage Trust Fund are applicable as well. The costs, we estimated $7 to $8 million for the building, $1.7 million for the landscape, and $800,000 for the parking lot. More importantly, the revenue. Based on ticket sales as well as our numbers and statistics we compiled for concessions, we believe that in the first year we can generate $600,000 in revenue in the first year. In conclusion, if Boise wants to pave the way towards the future and become the most livable city in the country, we have to evaluate the critical importance of the arts. Building innovative, new, and creative centers for the arts will be instrumental in our city's growth. We truly believe that the city has a definite need for such a building and envision it to be a historical and defining landmark 100 years from now.